Thankful to be here and to be moving with you. Grab yourself some extra pillows if you'd like. If you have a couple yoga blocks, that would be great. We'll start on our backs. And you can put a pillow underneath your head. And then if you have a couple extra pillows that are about the same size or a couple blocks, that would be great. Just work with what you have, but we'll bring the soles of our feet together and let our knees drop open out to the sides. And we'll just start by taking a few breaths here. You can always slide your feet a little farther away from you or bring your feet in a little closer to you. And just start to tune into your breath. Start to feel your inhales and your exhales. Being present with your body, being present with this moment. All right, if you have a couple blocks or a couple pillows, stack them up. If you have blocks, do the second highest height under your legs. And if you have pillows, if you can stack them a little higher. So bolsters or support, props, whatever you want to call it, are really good for not only people that may be carrying excessive tension, and if you stack your legs up, it can sometimes allow things to relax a little bit more, but they're also good for building stability and building strength for people who might be over mobile. So if every time you come here, you just fall out as wide as you can, over time, you might end up just kind of pulling more on your connective tissue. And if you give a little lift, you're changing the angle, and you're just getting into your muscles in a different way by changing the angle. So it's really good to not always go to end range of motion. So start higher than you'd think you would. And you could be surprised that if you stay here, maybe not as long as we're going to be here today, but if you stay here for a while, you might actually start to feel different sensations and different stretches in different areas. From here, let's bring our hands into the air and turn our palms to face behind us, and we'll tap our pinky fingers and open our thumbs out to the floor. So I don't want to be a bummer, but I did not sleep well last night. I had a really rough night. One of my dogs died. So I'm just really thankful to be here and to be moving some of this sad energy. Movement really comes in handy for a lot of different things. Go ahead and bring your hands together and open the backs of the hands to the floor. I'm just going to listen to my body go slower when my body asks me to. And keep coming back to my breath, and keep going back to your breath as well. And when you open your arms, you can change the height to different heights. All right, let's switch those blocks to the lowest height, or if you have pillows, you can slide them out a little bit, just to change it up a little bit. Bring your hands into the air, turn your palms to face away from you now. So we're just changing the rotation of our arms, and open your pinky fingers to the floor as your thumbs tap together over your chest. All right, let's switch it up. Try to bring the backs of your hands together. So this is probably not a motion most of us do very often. You want to go really slow into it to make sure that your shoulders feel okay with it. So palms of the hands come down, and maybe not all the way, maybe just open a little and come back up. But if you're not sure at all, like if your shoulders, not sure about this, then just skip it. Just do one of the other rotations more. Just another way to get more movement into the body. All right, bring the knees up, place the feet flat. You'll probably want to slide whatever you have under your head out, and with the outer edges of your feet straight and your ankles closer to hip distance apart, we'll lift into some dynamic bridge pose, starting with the ankles about right underneath the knee. Press equally through the soles of the feet as you lift and lower. Notice if your knees like to collapse in or out, try to keep them closer to hip distance apart. Check on clenching. Do you tend to clench through your hips, thighs, buttocks, muscles, maybe one side, maybe both sides? Try to relax clenching a little bit. And over time, like these are the basics, but things will just slowly get more subtle in your body over time. So like for me, one thing I do when I'm standing is I kind of push out to my right hip a little bit. And I figured out that when, and I've just been slowly, working on that over time to bring more balance to my hips. But then I notice when I do things like this, it's super subtle, but my hips shift a little to the right. And when I just give a little hug in, I actually clench less and I feel like I'm using more of my muscles more. So just be patient. Start with the feet straight, the ankles hip distance apart, watching your thighs collapsing in or out, trying to reduce clenching. And then over time, maybe months, maybe years, you'll be able to tune into more subtleties in your body. All right, we're gonna change this up. This is 1, we're gonna do 2, 3, and 4. So don't go too far too quick. Just slide your feet out a little bit and lift and lower here. And then next time your hips come down, wiggle your feet out a tiny little bit more and lift and lower here. And then slide your feet out one more time and lift and lower here. And lifting mostly from pressing through the feet and lifting the hips. The spine lifts up, but the ribs don't thrust forward. You're just keeping your ribs relaxed down. And how about next time you lift here, you hold, pressing into the feet, lifting through the hips, breathing. It's just interesting to see how when you move your feet in a bridge pose, sometimes you can really feel it works muscles differently. So it shows you, it's a good example of how when we're changing angles, even if we don't always feel it, we're working muscles differently. All right, from there, you can put your hips down, slide your feet back under about your knees, and then grab a block. Lift your hips up. You can do block at the lowest height, or you can spin it up to the second highest height if you want to. Kind of put it on that bony shelf, your sacrum. Whether you're on the lowest height or the second highest height, you're tilting your pubic bone towards you and letting your waist drop down. And same thing here, you can still tilt your pubic bone toward you and let your waist drop down. So same action. And then with your arms by your sides, thumbs point up, go ahead and reach your arms up and overhead and come back down by your sides. And arms go up. Front ribs stay relaxing down, relaxing any clenching, excessive clenching around the shoulders. Press equally into the soles of the feet. All right, next time your arms go overhead, you can just let them rest overhead. If your ribs tend to push up, it'd probably better have them higher. Even just great to have them higher if you have props that will allow you to do that. So, I could reach my arms overhead and rest them on something a little higher. I've done the highest height of the blocks too. And then extend your right leg long. And if you feel like, oh, now the block is too high, just bend your knees, lift your hips up, switch the block to the lower height, and then re-extend your leg. Feeling your inhales, letting your exhales soften everything from the inside out. And then maybe a little rotation of that right thigh bone side to side here. And then switch legs. Bend the right knee, extend the left leg long, and rotate that thigh bone a little bit side to side here. And then you can just stay steady. Take a few more breaths. And bend that knee and press into your feet. Slide the block out. You can put something back underneath your head, especially if you tend to thrust your ribs a little bit. Extend your left leg long. Bring your right knee up 90 degrees. Try to keep your right rib cage down as you twist your pelvis and your hip over to the left. And just as a reminder, like when I first began this, when I tried to lift my hip up, my ribs just went up automatically. As you gain more range of motion in this area, you'll just notice you get a little bit more turn of the pelvis without the rib cage coming up. And then let's switch sides. So extend the right leg, bend the left knee, and roll over from the pelvis and the waist. You could keep your left hand on your left rib cage to remind that area to ground into the floor. Never forcing anything. All right, from there, bend your knees, grab your strap, wrap your strap around the ball of your right foot, right below your toes, and then extend your left leg long. Try to straighten that leg all the way, bringing the back of your opposite thigh to the floor. Pull down on the ball of the foot, and then just do a little rock side to side here with a nice straight leg. And you can always play with different heights of your leg. The main key is keeping a neutral pelvis. So feeling like your front hip creases are pressing down, your tailbone is staying grounded to the floor. That's really the position of the pelvis and the position of the rib cage really make a huge difference in every movement we do. And then turn your thigh bone out to the right. So your knee and toes turn out. Keep that rotation as you rock a little bit side to side. Keep stretching up long through the inner thigh, through the outer thigh. And then pause and rotate the thigh bone in any amount. And it's okay if it doesn't go very far. And then do a little rotation there, side to side. Or rather, not rotation, just side to side sway. So I definitely feel a little bit more of a lack of range of motion in this rotation. And so I'm just making my movement smaller. Letting my body adapt slowly. All right, bend your left knee, cross your right ankle over your left knee, flex that ankle, push the knee away from you, and let your hips rock side to side here. And then pause your hips center and point and flex your right ankle. Notice as you point and flex, does it twist to one side or the other? Try to straighten it out. And then if you'd like to, grab a block and stick it on the lowest height or the second highest height underneath your left foot. And you can always bring it in closer to you or push it farther away. Let that right knee drop open, center your spine, reach your hands into the air, and then we'll flex and extend our wrist. Try to feel your shoulders relaxing as your arms stretch up, and then wrist inflection. Keep them in flexion as you go up and overhead. I really like this one. And then keep them in flexion as you come back up over your chest. And then extend your wrist and keep this extension. And this movement in itself is just such a great one if you work on, inversions and arm balances and stuff. Just doing these a lot more often without load is very helpful to condition your body. All right, and then release. And from here, let's rock a little bit side to side here before we switch legs, where we uncross the right ankle, wrap the strap around the ball of the left foot, extend the right leg long, try to straighten that left leg. You can play with different heights, but tune into that tilt of your pelvis. It makes all the difference in the world. And then a little rock side to side. And then rotate your thigh bone out, knees and toes turn to the left, and a rock side to side there. And you can always stay at one angle and take a couple breaths, or continue to rock side to side. And then rotate your thigh bone in any amount. Try to straighten the leg all the way as you rock side to side there. Really love the rotation with a little rock. I feel like it really hits a lot of those muscles up at the top of the thigh. A lot of different muscles. All right, bend the right knee, cross the left ankle over, open your left thigh away from you, let your hips rock a little side to side here. And then center your spine and point and flex your left ankle. Notice if it likes to kind of twist to one side as you point and flex, and try to straighten it out a little bit. All right, you can slide the block underneath your right foot, second highest height or lowest height, or a pillow or a towel under there. You can slide it farther away from you. You can bring it closer in. Still keep trying to push your hip creases down to the floor. Reach your arms into the air. This time as we flex and extend, try to keep your thumbs gently spreading out to the sides. And then next time you flex, take your arms slowly up and overhead without the ribs pushing forward, and bringing them slowly back up with wrist and flexion, and then extension the whole time as you slowly go overhead, maybe the fingers tap down, and then slowly coming back up. And then go ahead and release your hands and uncross your leg, and you can move that block out of the side. Bend both knees, cross your, actually first, let's do this one. Let's wrap the strap around the ball of your right foot, lower that leg a bit, and then maybe cross your left ankle right below your right knee on your thigh. And then from there, do think tailbone down, but see if you can bend in from your hip joint a little bit more, as opposed to this would be bending in from your spine. So keep tailbone down, and how about pulling that leg up a little more, centering your hips, letting the left thigh drop away from you, feeling the front ribs drop down. All right, let's switch legs. So wrapping the strap around the ball of the left foot and extend nice and long, maybe crossing the right ankle over. Think tailbone down, but maybe from there you can move your thigh bones in a little bit closer, opening the right knee away from you, centering the spine, and being with your breath, your inhales and your exhales. And then go ahead and release. Cross your right ankle in front of your left ankle and walk your feet in opposite directions of each other as much as you can. You'll notice over time, as things start to release and let go a little bit more, that you'll be able to walk them over even further. And then from there, let your knees drop open. Another thing you can pay attention to is how far do your feet want to slide away. You can play with putting your feet in different positions. As your knees drop open, you can stick pillows under your hips and thighs. Let this area release and let go. So we do the psoas releases and the iliacus releases to help this area relax. This kind of pulls on this area a little bit more, especially if your ribs are down. So this is a good one to do after those at times, but we already warmed up our hips quite a bit. Interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom, press away. Try to get a nice even interlace as your thumbs spread out. Take your arms overhead and reach long. And then bring your hands over your forehead and press up. And a lot of times when people first start, their hands kind of cup back towards them. Over time, you'll be able to almost flip them inside out. Bring your hands a little bit farther towards your belly button. And then press your hands towards your feet. Press through the fingers, press through the base of the fingers, the center of the palm, the heel of the hand. And then release and lift your knees up and switch legs. Walk your ankles as far in opposite directions as they'll go. Watch if the feet always want to slide out, so that is changing the dynamic of the stretch. Try to bring them in unless it's really bothersome. Maybe stack pillows under your hips or thighs. Interlace your left pinky finger on the back and press up. Spread your thumbs out, relax, clenching around your hips and thigh muscles, and then take your arms up any amount. And this leg position is a great one to like experiment with. Like do it every day for a week and then see how your hips feel after you do it. And bring your hands up over your forehead and press away. Shoulders relax down as arms stretch long. And then go over your belly button. And then go towards your feet. And then release your hands. Check in with your thighs. Is one side clenching more than the other, or just how do they feel compared to each other? And then lift your knees up, and from there, we're gonna roll over onto the right side of the body. So roll right over onto your right side, create a pillow with your arm or a block, and then from there extend your legs long and put your top leg behind your bottom leg and try to touch your whole inner edge of your foot down. If your top hip rolls back, roll it forward so your hips are stacked. 2 straight legs here, and then from here take your top arm up and over dynamic side bends. I'm really loving this stretch lately. The first couple times I was playing with it, I felt a lot more around my waist and my hip area, and now it's kind of moved to my stomach, which I just feel like is a really important area to stretch out because it's often the tension in that area that prevents our core from being optimally strong. We really want a dynamic core to be strong. That's why it's like doing sit-ups and crunchies all the time is not really effective. It might make your core look a lot better, but that's only one small movement in like a huge array of dynamic movements for the best way to get your core strong. Make sure it moves in all ways and in lots of different ways. All right, let's bring the arm down. You can put it in front of you, lift the leg up about hip height, bend your heel in towards your buttocks, pull your thigh bone back a little bit, and then re-extend and reach through the heel. And let's do that a few more times. Bend, pull back, and extend long. And bend, pull back, and extend long, and bend, pull back, and extend long, and then lower down and roll over to your other side. Create a pillow with your left arm or a block or a pillow. Extend your legs long, slide your top leg back. Try to put your whole inner edge of the foot on the floor, but roll your top hip forward. And then as you're ready, dynamic side bends with that arm. And then from there, bring your arm in front of you, stack your legs, bring that leg about hip height, reach long through that leg like you're pulling your hip away from you, slowly bend in, pull the thigh bone back and re-extend. If you feel any sensation in your knee, then just go slower, maybe do less range of motion, but you're bending in, pulling back a little bit, and then extending and reaching long. Bending in, oops, sorry, knew that was gonna be loud. Pulling the thigh bone back a little bit and extending long. And then lower that foot down, use your hand to press yourself up. Tuck your toes under as much as you can behind you with your ankles and feet hip distance apart. Really tuck them under as much as you can. Over time, you're just trying to get a little bit more and a little bit more of a tuck. And then you can sit back towards your heels, like you can sit back a little bit to put more weight on them. Flip your right hand over. Try to touch your 4 fingertips to the floor, peeling back through the palm of your hand. And breathing here. Thumb spreads out to the side. Check your ankles. Try to center your heels. And then switch hands. 4 fingers pressed down. Peel back through the palm of the hand, thumb out to the side. Breathing here. And then release. Okay, I love this top of the foot stretch. You can use a block, you can use a dome, you can use a rolled up towel, but setup is key. So you're gonna put it behind your right foot and you're just putting your toes on it. If you put up a little bit higher than your toes, You might feel a stretch on different area of your foot, but sometimes people don't. So that's why if you just get closer to your toes, and then when you sit back any amount, the top of the foot will kind of slide down towards the floor. You have to find that right setup where you're not off too much or too little. And then you can just stay really leaning forward, or you can sit back any amount to put a little bit more load on the foot. But from here, whether you're leaning forward or you're back, put the back of your right hand on the floor. And you can keep your elbow pit out to the side or rotate it slightly forward. Sometimes I do this and my arm bone just doesn't want to rotate at all, and that's okay. All right, release the hands, switch feet, slide the block or the towel over, put your toes up on it. And then from there, your hips can sit back any amount. Oh, that feels good on this side. I just got the perfect setup. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Flip the back of your hand over onto the floor. You can keep your elbow out to the side, or you can rotate your upper arm bone so your elbow pit turns into a different degree and therefore hits different muscles in your forearm. Woo! I'm feeling that top of the foot stretch. And so like this is the second or third time I've done this top of the foot stretch this week, and I'm feeling it the most now. It's just, that's how the body works. Sometimes you have to do things several times to wake up different areas, to feel things differently. Be patient with yourself. Don't try to force sensation. All right, release that hand and come on up, and we'll come up onto our knees and step our right foot forward into a lunge. Press your pubic bone forward, square your hips. Let's bring our right hand forward, and we're gonna do a mix of fingers. So we're gonna stretch our pinky finger and our ring finger together. And so I was feeling a little pressure on my back knee, and it was actually because my foot was a little to the side, and so it was pulling my kneecap to one side. So just by moving my lower leg, that's not always the solution. Sometimes you have to pad it, sometimes you have to completely move your legs around. But sometimes it's a small solution of something you just don't realize you're doing. Let's stretch our two middle fingers down and back together. And then your pointer and your middle finger together. And then create a thumbs up with your hand. And you can just kind of like pull up gently, like you're massaging up on your thumb. You can, pull up on this padding right below your thumb a little bit. Very gentle. These are small muscles, but if you're on your cell phone a lot like I am, and I say too much, and it is too much, but it's just like so many things now. It's like you're paying bills on your cell phone, doing tax stuff, emailing people, there's so many things we do, using my calculator, like everything I'm doing, I'm opening my cell phone and scrolling with my thumb. Go ahead and switch legs. I'm trying to get in the habit of doing it with other fingers too. And then we'll start with our left palm up, pubic bone presses forward, and pull back on your pinky and your ring finger together. And your two middle fingers. And the middle finger and pointer finger. Feet stable and steady here. And then create a thumbs up with your thumb, and you can just kind of, pull up on the tissues a little bit. I guess it'd be a little bit easier to massage if you had some like coconut oil or something on there, but you can still push into the sides of the thumb a little and gently massage that whole thumb pad area and up the thumb, just squeezing it. All right, from there, let's tuck our back toes under, push down to step up, grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch and a strap. And we'll step our right foot up and our left foot can go forward or back any amount. From here, hold the strap behind your back, palms face forward, about hip distance, but if you feel like your shoulders are feeling a little feeling tighter this morning, take your hands a little wider, and then from here we'll slowly lift our arms and lower. If you have the ability to really straighten your arms, lock them out, keep a little bend in your elbows, but keep your legs all the way straight. Front ribs stay relaxed down so we're not pushing them forward. And then next time you lift, hold, and let's do like a half forward fold here. Super straight leg as you push your thigh bones back, and super straight legs as you come up. Let's do that again. And then let's do it again, but let's this time bend your right knee, steer it over the center of your foot, fold forward a little, lift the strap any amount, pull the strap taut between your hands, and then come on up and let's switch legs. So ball of the foot up, heel down, outside foot steps forward any amount. And you can do your hands a little farther apart. You can do your hands a little closer in, and we'll lift and lower here, front ribs down, ears slide back over the shoulders. You can, over time, start noticing like where your body uses more muscle and less muscle. Like for instance, right now, my foot slightly rolls to the outer edge. So if I just push down a little bit more through the ball of my foot, I can feel more muscle engagement through my whole lower leg. Keep doing that over time. It makes a big difference. You start watching alignment and including, getting more muscles to activate. Everything you do, like the simplest things, feel like more work, but in a really good way. Back your hips up, maybe the strap stays off your back, 2 straight legs, and then come up, and let's do that again. Hinge forward, backing your thigh bones up, and come on up, and then put a bend in that knee, steer it to the center of the foot, hinge forward, maybe the hands lift off the back, pull the strap, turn the palms of the hands towards the floor, and come on up, and then we'll take it into a top of the foot stretch. So push down through the left hip, tuck the top of the right foot behind you, hands go into the air, pulling the strap taut. I don't know if I'm off. Whoops, there goes that block again. Sorry, it's a cork block heavy. Let's side bend to one side and come up, and side bend to the other side and come up and twist a little bit and twist to the other side. Come back to center. You can rest your arms while you switch feet. And then once you're set up, notice if your ankle rolls to one side, center as long as it doesn't hurt anything, side bend to one side, and we'll side bend to the other side. Come up, twist to one side, and twist to the other side. And back to center, and hands come down and foot comes forward. All right, stepping up to the top of the mat. If you have one block, you'll see me all the time in classes, I use one block to step back. But if you have 2 blocks, even if one is thicker and one is thinner, you can do them together, and then you can keep your hands more shoulder height. So that's nice. Interlace your right pinky finger on the back. Sit back into a chair pose. Watching if your knees go forward or back, in or out. Maybe lift the hands off your back as you reach your knuckles back. Fold over your legs a little more, and then bring your hands down to the blocks. From the blocks, step your left leg way back, center the ball of the foot, and then try to keep your hips steady and just roll off your back foot to bend and straighten the knee. Breathing here. And then next time your knee bends, softly put it down, check front ankle about under the knee. You can put your block at any height or your left hand on the floor, wrap the left elbow pit forward and twist the right arm open. And then tap that hand down, and you can either do that one more time or lift your back knee and stretch long through the leg and twist open through the right arm. and then tap that hand down. We're gonna do one more variation. Put your back knee down, heel toe your right leg out to the right. Keep going, toes and knees point out to the right. Looks like this from the side, and then from there, keep that left hand down and twist open towards that leg. Stay here for a breath. Relax buttocks muscles deep into the inner thigh, any excessive clenching, groin area, and then tap the hand down. Walk the right foot back up to the top of the mat. Once you're there, lift your back knee and spin your foot flat and come on up for a warrior two pose. And I'm just gonna slip these socks off my feet, and you're in a nice wide stance, right toes turned out to the right and bending into the knee. Press as much energy through the back leg as you're using in the front leg, from your left buttocks to your heel, arms out to the sides, palms down. Bend your elbows in, extend, rotate so palms are facing forward. Bend in and extend, rotate palms up, bend in and extend. Slowly straighten your right leg, lift your right arm up into the air and rotate your right arm bone. Try to move from the shoulder so you're not just turning the hand and the forearm here. Maybe you can feel the pull down into the ribs or even down into the waist. And then from there, pull your torso up, tip over into a triangle pose. Try to go nice and slow here as you bend the knee. So we want range of motion, but stability. So sometimes people will bend their knee and they'll just slide right in. That's not creating strength here. Bend in slow, control, knee over the ankle. And then when you straighten, if you tend to snap straight, try to slowly straighten all the way. Bend in, steering the knee, stop when you mean to stop, and slowly straighten. Let's do that again. Bend in, and slowly straighten, pressing from left hip to heel. Bend in, you can rest your hand or your elbow on your knee, flip your left hand behind you, wrap towards your lower buttocks and reach up, hand behind you. Go towards your upper buttocks and reach up. How about your lower back and reach up? How about trying to go above your lower back, never forcing, and extend up and pull yourself up and turn your right toes in and rotate your pelvis over your thigh bones, and then walk back around to your right foot, spinning your feet around. Lower your left knee, slide your right knee back to meet your left knee. Thumbs spread out. Lower belly relaxes, so tailbone goes into the air. Rhomboid push-ups with 2 straight arms. Lift your breastbone, feel your upper back spread wide, and then let your spine sink down. Once you've got the motion, it's just your upper spine and your pelvis isn't going along, try to wrap your elbow pits to face forward as your spine goes up and down. And if it's hard to sink down, just try to let it relax any amount. But for those who easily sink down, try to make sure you're really lifting through the armpits. Feel the upper back spread. Breathing here. I really love this neck stretch that we're going to do too. So we're going to come down to the forearms, walk them over to the right a few steps. Bring your palms of your hands together. Sit your hips back any amount, and then lift your hands up toward your head. So it's like a side bend, child's pose with a tricep stretch. Lower belly relaxes, feet ground, head relaxes, maybe on the arms, maybe on the floor. And then bring your hands down and walk your forearms over to the left, hands together, hips slide back a little, hands come up, resting your head somewhere so it's your neck and head are comfortable. Gently grounding through the tops of your feet or the bottoms of your feet, whatever's touching the floor. All right, push through your elbows to walk back to center. So last week we ended class with some tricep push-ups. We're gonna do that again here. Thumbs spread out, elbow pits wrap forward, and then relax your belly, tailbone up in the air, and we'll lift up here into a rhomboid push-up and bend our elbows and press up. So multiple different pieces. If your elbows are getting low, you probably have to walk your hands back a bit so they don't get all the way to the floor. So start under your shoulders. Try to keep your elbows in. I just worked on that for months. Like my elbows were always trying to pop out to the side on the way down and the way up. I just worked on elbows. And then after a while, do you sink your shoulder blades down as you bend? Try to keep the lift of your ribs up as you bend down. Hips are not going back. It's kind of like your chest is diving to the floor, but you're also keeping it lifted. Press equally through the palms of the hands. And piece by piece here, you'll just start to feel like, oh yeah, things are starting to come together. Again, it's a patient process. Be kind to yourself, be compassionate. And then from here, let's stand up on our knees, step our right foot forward, tuck your back toes under, and press down to come up to stand. All right, a little balance play here. Feel free to stand by a chair or the wall. Push down through your left leg, bring your right leg into a march, tap down. Push down through your left leg, bring your right leg into a quad stretch, tap down. Now how about we go to the march, then to the quad. Press down through the left hip, bend in march, and go right back to the quad and lower down. All right, push down through that outer right hip, hug in if it tends to pop out, bring it into a march, tap down, push down through the right hip, bring it into a quad balance, and lower down. Let's do both. Pressing down through this outer right hip, bringing it up into a march, and taking it back to a quad stretch and lower down. And we'll start back at the top of the mat. Grab your block or blocks if you'd like to. Sit back into a chair pose. Interlace left pinky finger on the back. Fold over any amount. Lift your hands any amount. Reach through your knuckles. Breathing here. And then lower your hands to your blocks and step your right leg way back. You can put the blocks at any height here. Bend and straighten that back knee, keeping your hips steady. Feel how your foot interacts with the mat, trying to use more parts that are touching, more of the ball of the foot. And the next time that knee bends, lower it down, right hand on the floor of the block, elbow pit wraps forward, twist the left arm open. Breathing, reaching up, tap the left hand down. You can keep the back knee down or lift it and twist the left arm open. Breathing here, again, checking, did you roll to one side of your right foot, your ankle, your big toe side? And then tap that hand down, lower your back knee, heel toe your left foot out to the left, and keep walking it out. Right hand stays down. Twist open and hold for a moment. Relax any excessive clenching all around the top of your thigh muscles, reaching up through that top arm, twisting open from the belly button, tuning into your breath, and then bring the left hand down, walk the left foot back to forward, lift your back knee, spin your foot flat, come on up for a warrior two with left foot forward. I just spin around so that I'm mirroring you. Outer edge of the left foot straight, press long into the back leg, turn your palms to face down, bend in, extend, palms face forward, bend in, extend, palms face up, bend in, extend. Now one thing to check, whether your one knee's bent, one leg straight, both legs straight, is our weight, when the tension tends to push us to the front of our feet, it's very subtle. You want to shift and put more weight into your heels. Use the front of your feet, but don't load the weight of your body so much over the front of your feet. Straighten your left leg, bring that arm up, and rotate your arm bone here. And then from here, just flip over into a triangle pose. Feel the weight shift into the heels, and nice and slowly bend the knees. Stop when you mean to. And nice and slowly straighten the leg. And bending in. And straightening. Take your time. And bending in. And straightening. And bending in, and hold hand or elbow to the knee. You can use it to steer. Flip your hand behind you. We'll wrap different places. How about start lower buttocks and go up, and upper buttocks and reach up, lower back area and reach up and go up the back any amount. And reach up, feel the weight in the heels, pull yourself up, parallel your feet, rotate over your thigh bones, and walk around to that left foot. Lower your knee down, slide your left knee back to meet your right knee. Okay, so remember earlier I said work the core in dynamic ways. This is a fun way to do that. Elbow pits wrap forward, ribs up. Extend your right leg back, and you're not taking it out to the right, you're just taking it a little to the right. Reach your left arm forward, take it a little to the left, and maybe reach that leg. Top of the rhomboid push-up, reaching long through the arm and the leg, just pulling on the core muscles, making them work in a different way. Lower the hand, lower the foot across behind the other foot. Same hand, left hand, reaches over and across the front of the body. Right leg extends and reach, arm and leg reaching in opposite directions, top of the rhomboid push-up. And lower hand, lower knee, switch sides. Elbow pits wrap forward, left leg extends, hop it a little to the left. Right arm extends, open a little to the right, and maybe lift. Lift up, wrap the left elbow pit forward, breathing here. Hand comes down, take the foot across, same arm reaches up and goes across, leg and arm lifting and reaching in opposite directions. Head ramps up towards the ceiling, breathing here, and lower the hand and lower the knee. And go back to a child's pose of your choice, arms long or pillow or palms flip up. Definitely return to the awareness of your inhale and your exhale, the gift of your breath, the gift of your life. And if you'd like to stay in a child's pose, enjoy every moment. If you'd like to come up and go back into a down dog, enjoy every moment. I'm going to come down and stay in my child's pose, but take a few breaths in your down dog. And then from there, lower your knees down, stand up on your knees, step your left foot forward, tuck your back toes under, push down to come up. Okay, feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. How about press down through the right side, go from a march to a quad, and do it a few times. Upper body relaxed. And then we'll switch sides. Outer edges of feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, hips over heels. These things will make a world of difference in the long run. Press down through the left hip, and we'll go from a march to a quad. And lower down, and then take your time and squat down. And you can just crawl down any way or have a seat on a block or a bolster or a couple pillows. Cross your right ankle in front. Sit up as tall as you can from your pelvis. Remember, if your thighs drop open easily, maybe work with that neutral ankle. Take your right arm out, turn your palm behind you, wrap it behind your back. From there, you can see about flipping your hand over. It will only go one way. Try to, whether you're here or here, try to touch more parts of your hand and your forearm to your back. And then once you're there, drop your left ear to your left shoulder and slowly nod your head yes. When you go forward, you hit a little more of the back side of the neck. When you slowly go back, you hit a little bit more of the front side of the throat area. And then release, and let's switch arms. Left arm out, palm faces behind you. Reach it through. Doesn't matter how high. If your elbow comes in, you can play with different heights. And then maybe flip the hand over, maybe not, whether you are or not. Touch more parts of your hand to your back. Take your right ear over to your right shoulder. And take your time nodding the head yes. And then after you do a few nods, you can, add some of your own movement in with the chin or the head. Take your time. Feel your breathing. And then bring your head up, release your arms, switch the crossing of your legs, sitting up tall, right arm goes up, hand to the shoulder, think ribs drop down and back, but elbow up and ears slide back with your chin down. Turn and look over your left shoulder and nod your head yes here. Oh, that one, as you do it more often, just has like more and more layers of goodness, hitting different areas, ribs down, left elbow up, turn and look away from your arm and take your time and nod your head yes here. Sometimes you'll do something like unique and you'll be like, wow, that really hits an area I need it. And sometimes you won't feel much at all, and then you come back and do the same thing months later, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, now it's hitting different areas. So just keep moving your body in different ways and appreciate the process. And then bring your head back, release that arm. You can stay on your block or come off. We're just gonna stretch our legs straight and hinge forward here. You can drop your head down for more full back of the body stretch. And you're ready for your final pose, Savasana. So whatever you need to do to get comfortable, stretch yourself out. This is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations, to waste a moment on the yesterdays. Bringing your hands together at heart center. Maybe if you're just on your back, staying on your back and bringing your hands together at heart center. If you want to wiggle around and roll over to your side and press yourself up, please feel free to do that. But I just think staying a little longer in Savasana is always a gift. In gratitude for this day, namaste.